talking to you from the studio retreat of Urban Primitive, and I'm talking right now with Heather Horton, who is one of my favorite artists and painters, and she's here to get another session, another tattoo. As you can see, she has some work on her arms, and I just wanted to check with you, Heather, what you were thinking of for today.
Well, Damon, throughout the course of our history, I've come to you, and it's just sort of happened very organically, and I haven't really had a definitive thing in mind. I think a lot of people come to you with an idea, and I just love your work. So I said, just here's the canvas, do your thing. But this time, it's echoing that, but it's also more specific. I'd like to have a smallish piece, undulating as usual, in the similar Fibonacci idea, in white. Because you were telling me that white can absolutely be used, and I'm intrigued by that because of my impending move to the Yukon, which has a lot of white, a lot of the year. So it's more inherently symbolic, this one, and it'll be a self-contained piece, attached, of course, but also on its own little thread, as it were. And so white, symbolizing my move, symbolizing this odyssey, this around 6,000 kilometer drive I'll be doing in 2 weeks. Yeah. So I thought this will be perfect. The timing will be perfect. It's right before it. And it'll be healing, and it'll be, becoming a part of me while I'm becoming a part of that place.
Cool. We were talking earlier about this. Do you find that getting the tattoo just before you go on this journey is in any way going to sort of launch you, or?
I think that it will absolutely augment it. I think that I just think it's the perfect thing to do right in conjunction with it. I think every time that I look, I'm a left-handed person, it'll be on my left wrist. So every time I look at my wrist as I'm driving, I'll see it and think of it. Reminder. And just think, okay, this is like perfectly coordinated, how it's worked out. Yeah.
How did you, I know you want me to just go with it to some degree, but what do you envision? Do you want more of the design on the inside?
I wanted to talk to you about that because I love the handwork that you've done here. So I mean, initially, like my thought is to have like something out of my hand too. Okay. But I wanted to sort of talk with you about that. So it's kind of as usual. It's kind of amorphous, and at the same time, kind of I know the general idea. Yeah. So probably the outside, probably out here.
So mostly on the outside, and it all going in.
Maybe wrapping around.
A little bit.
I like the wrapping. Okay. Love it.
So lots of that sort of three-dimensional, going a little bit onto your hand, and how far up, just roughly, do you envision?
I just kind of think like sort of like here with wrapping around a little bit around the wrist. But I wouldn't, if you were to go up on my hand.
I would not argue.
That'd be great. Yeah. I've had more folks comment on your work. They see it on my hand, all the time, and then they're like, "Does that go all the way up?" And invariably, the sleeve comes off, and it's a great conversation starter. It's wonderful.
So then,
yes. Anyway,
even though it's self-contained, then I'm guessing you'll say that someday.
Well, guess what?
Who knows?
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, I say, this is it. It's just this one piece, but I'll be back.
The perennial tattoo.
Absolutely. When it comes to Damon and his process, as it applies to his work and my work, getting a tattoo from Damon is right from the beginning. It's about the friendship, it's about the energy that he exudes, and it all works together. So the tattoo happens even before the ink is placed into your skin. There's no separation between our friendship and the art. So in a way, it's like, it's just a great representation of our friendship. As it applies to my painting, I would say his process is a little bit more subtle in that it's not a direct thing. I take it away with me. I reflect upon the work, look at it on my body, and I think it resonates and I think about him as a friend and my friends as a collective, And that gives me strength to paint. So I would say it's a little bit more indirect, but it all is connected.
But yeah, it's just that I always wanted to sculpt when I was younger. And with tattooing, with the way I work, I am sculpting because I find it so important when I'm figuring out the design. It's like how it looks from different angles and how something moves over, the line moves over the terrain, as opposed to just flat on, which is why I prefer not to just transfer something and take my chances, because it's not really a living tattoo.
It's like the equivalent, I would say, a loose equivalent of route finding and hiking. So if you have your coordinates, you have to adapt to the terrain and figure out the best way through.
Yeah. And if you're someone who's been on the land all their life, they're going to have that kind of intuitive senses built up over time. So if you were someone who knew an area and you were leading them through it, you would have a different relationship with that terrain than the person who's just gone there first.
Correct.
And it's the same thing with working with someone. There's this sort of a resonance that I try to follow.
Mm-hmm.
When I sat down, I just had this diagonal feeling here, and I don't know where it's going from there, but I just put that thing down, and then it just kind of something else comes into the picture.
But I think where the real craft emerges is where it's like this bridge between intuition and judgment. So going with what makes sense, but also having the experience to, like, you'll start drawing something on there, and then all of a sudden it coalesces together and connects back. I'm like, that's what's up. I kind of appreciate that it's not always immediate. You know what I mean? And yet by the end it is, you know. But it just all works.
There's only one bee, right?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want with the bee.
I'll put another bee. See, now I'm into bees.
That would be funny. Do it. Put ES, put bees. That's terrific.
Well, what if? Oh no, it's going the opposite direction.
That is funny.
I was just thinking if the spiral did this and it made another E. Just by spiraling there.
I love it. That's awesome.
Okay, so now this way. Oh yeah, I guess your arm doesn't go that way. It's like. Well, today's session with Heather, a lot of because I know her so well from many visits, and also because we're both artists, and we really connect and relate so well on the same channel in so many ways. We really dovetail and feed each other. There's no effort whatsoever, which can only build over time. And also, I think because Heather is right at this point, the pinnacle of a whole new and very large phase of her life, which has been, from my perspective, over sessions and in our conversations, has been building.
Before I go into the tattoo, I've had enough done to know what to expect, and yet you never really know what to expect. So there's certain things that are consistent, but you're always a little bit nervous. There are moments of discomfort. But you know that it's something that you're going to have forever, and people are terrified by that, and I think it's exciting.
How do you feel after your tattoo, if there's any way to describe it?
Tired, but not in a bad way. Just because it's a lot of exertion. You're with your body constantly being in various states of, physicality in the afternoons. And so, tired but happy, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would say more sort of quietly, like I don't feel like going out and being like loud and social. It's like sort of more, I guess maybe the internalizing of it all. I'm not sure. Does that answer your question? Kind of.
Oh, it's whatever.
Yeah.
I think most people would say similar thing. Although some people have felt like going out partying afterwards. It's a
Really?
weird burst of energy, and then it goes really quick. Or some people are, as you mentioned, and then get a little burst later. Or I think it's just those little bubbles of excitement of something shifted and new.
I agree.
This momentum and this challenge, or these challenges that she's been facing, this is like she's in a very, I find, very excited place in her life. Moving to the Yukon, it's something that she's really waited for. It's the expansion of her artwork, of like everything's fitting together, which is what my whole approach to tattooing has always been. So it's really nice. It's nice to have theories and patterns that start to form in how I approach tattooing as a facilitator and as a midwife to the person's kind of self-birthing experience. But it's wonderful when you really see it happening, which is what was the case with Heather today. I mean, it's not that I need proof, but it's just really nice to see the larger picture just taking shape, and the person using it, the tattoo experience as a vehicle intuitively.